With the hero's party battling a massive creature, all the members are serving their roles including Rudd the tank. His job is to provoke the monsters in attacking him and protect his comrades as they ambush the enemy. Back in the town, Rudd is daydreaming about his sister as Nin snaps him back into reality. Remorseful, he asks Nin why she woke him up as she reminds him that they are present at the guild. Nin herself is ashamed, but maintains her composure. After things calm down a little, she asks if Rudd was daydreaming about his sister, to which he replies positively. Nin asserts that he should focus on some other things as well, like romance, which shocks Rudd and both of them start blushing. However, Rudd immediately remembers that no one is cuter than his sister, so there's no point. He further reveals that his sister suffers from an incurable disease and if he wants to treat her, he needs to locate the secret treasure of Labyrinth. But as soon as he remembers their previous battle, he gets demotivated. Nin attempts to console him, stating that he did his job as a tank and even though he didn't get hit yesterday, his shield absorb was still dropping for some reason. Rudd also cannot comprehend what is happening to his shield. He then apologizes to Nin for consuming too many potions and being a burden on this party. Nin, on the other hand, keeps motivating Rudd, asserting that they've been able to fight this far because of him and that he's an exceptional tank. In the meantime, the hero Kyglis and other party members also appear at the guild. After greeting Nin and Rudd, he introduces two new members of their party, but Nin interferes. She exclaims that according to guild rules, they can only have 6 members and if they include the newbies, they will possess 7 members. Kyglis understands this and banishes Rudd from the party. Upon inquiring, he explains that he is a useless tank and the reason they lost yesterday was owing to Rudd's incompetency. Nin keeps arguing, but Kyglis is not ready to listen. He is dead sure on banishing Rudd from the party and even brought some new tanks with him. Considering everything, Rudd also agrees and proceeds to leave the guild. As he is walking past Kyglis, the hero stops him, blaming everything on Rudd and takes away his sword to make up for the loss as he keeps mocking him. With this, the other party members leave the guild, but Nin stays behind. She clings to Rudd's arm as he apologizes for being incompetent. Hearing this, Nin starts crying and asks if this is goodbye. Rudd then settles down and reminds her regarding his home, revealing that he will be living alongside his sister now and asks her to visit him sometime. Now that Rudd is all alone, he wonders what he should do now as he cannot head back to his hometown quite yet. He also ponders about what Kyglis said regarding his skill, wondering if they are truly useless. He cannot even rely on anyone to appraise his skills. In the meantime, some adventurers are devising a strategy regarding their mission. Rudd happens to overhear that they are heading towards Karas, which is quite near to his hometown. He then approaches the newbie adventurers, which shocks them. Without wasting any time, he offers to join them for this mission and that they don't even have to pay them. The adventurers, however, inquire regarding his rank, which embarrasses Rudd as he is still rank F. At that moment, one of them recognizes Rudd as a member of the hero's party, which relieves them and they accept his proposal. With this, their journey begins. On their way, they come across some monster, but they manage to fend them off with Rudd's help. As they're traveling through dense fog, the cart's owner asks if they should rest, but Rudd denies, asserting that they continue their journey. Suddenly, he notices something in the distance and approaches to take a closer look. As the dense fog clears, he comes across a mysterious girl standing in the middle of the road. After making sure that this is not a trap, Rudd questions the girl regarding her whereabouts and if she is alright. He also notices a gem on her chest which shocks her. In the meantime, the old man warns him about a gigantic snake approaching him. He instructs the girl to hide somewhere and activates his skill Provoke to attract the snake. With Rudd negating his attacks, he instructs the adventurers to take down the snake, but they are scared, which puts all of them in danger. The snake takes advantage of this slight delay and counterattacks, thrashing Rudd into a tree. Even though he is unconscious, as soon as he remembers his sister, he snaps back into reality. Upon standing, he announces that he doesn't possess a sword and further motivates the adventurers to defeat this snake. With Rudd blocking its attacks, their blows are somewhat damaging to the snake. At that point, the snake launches its killing blow. Rudd realizes that he cannot dodge this attack and that there's no other choice but to block it. With this, he assumes his stance and faces the attack head-on. With his 9,999 level shield, Rudd manages to block the killing blow as other adventurers finish the snake off. Now that the battle is over, Rudd instructs them to carve up the monster as he rushes towards the girl. After inquiring about her health, he questions if she has anywhere to go, to which she replies negatively. Hearing this, he offers her to travel alongside him to his hometown. This makes the girl insanely happy and she accepts his offer. Despite this, Rudd is worried about her appearance, but the old man offers them clothes as gratitude for protecting him. He also wonders if she is an escaped slave. According to Rudd, the gem on her chest symbolizes her being a homunculus who serves humans as slaves and cannot travel alone. But now, Rudd is taking care of her. Upon reaching Karas, Rudd takes his leave alongside the homunculus girl. The other adventurers offer him to join their party, but Rudd refuses, asserting that he has to locate the sacred treasure. Hearing this, the adventurers comment that the sacred treasure also possesses the ability to create homunculus, which makes the girl uncomfortable, and Rudd takes his leave. They even made weird comments regarding homunculi, like they are emotionless and ruthless beasts. On their way, they come across a flower garden and Rudd realizes that they haven't introduced themselves. He introduces himself as Rudd and questions regarding her identity. In response, the girl reveals that she doesn't possess a name, with Rudd commenting that it would be difficult addressing her without a name. After observing his surroundings, he decides to name her Luna, which makes her insanely happy. Following this, they camp inside a forest where Rudd prepares food and informs her regarding their journey ahead. As they are conversing, Luna notices some wolves lurking nearby and grabs a knife, skillfully killing all of them. This shocks Rudd as he realizes that Luna must be an illegally forged homunculus. Unlike other homunculi, she possesses a will of her own, emotions, and can even fight. According to him, illegal homunculi are usually disposed of, but her frightened eyes reminded him of his sister and now he cannot abandon her. Witnessing her abilities, Rudd deduces that she would have defeated the giant snake herself, but Luna reveals that she doesn't possess any melee skill, but she is adept at magic. Upon inquiring about her skills, Luna reveals that she possesses the Identify skill, which startles Rudd since there is just one person who possesses this skill and that person is also dead. This makes Luna the only person with Identify skill. He then asks her to appraise his skills, to which she agrees. As she is appraising his skills, she reveals that Rudd possesses 4 skills. One of them is Provoke, that allows him to attract his opponents towards him. The second one makes him immune to any status effects and boosts his natural healing. Rudd already knows about these skills, but he doesn't know about the other 2. Luna further reveals that Rudd possesses a skill known as Life Conversion that allows him to convert his shield damage into strength. The last one, Shield of Sacrifice, allows him to treat the absorbed shields of his allies as his own. This is the reason behind Rudd's depleting shield absorption in the Labyrinth. This relieves him as there is no problem with himself, he was just protecting his allies. The following morning, both of them continue their journey towards Avancia and finally reach there. Upon reaching Avancia, Rudd and Luna come across Melina, who hugs him out of the blue, which shocks Luna. Melina offers Rudd to hang out with her, as in the meantime, Fee also appears at the spot and separates Melina from Rudd. After greeting them, Rudd questions their presence there. Melina tells him that she is going to buy a hammer and Fee is on patrol. Fee also checks up on Manisha during her patrol, revealing that she is alright. Rudd is glad that he doesn't have to worry about Manisha on her adventures since the entire town looks after her. Following this, Melina inquires regarding Luna as Rudd tells them that he found her during his adventure and she had nowhere to go, so he decided to look after her. Melina then introduces herself as the blacksmith's poster girl and also forces Fee to introduce herself even though she is shy. Seeing this, Rudd and Melina start teasing her. Their interactions make Luna feel at home and she even smiles. Following this, both of them reach home where Rudd instructs Luna to stay quiet as Manisha might be sleeping, but as soon as they enter the home, he notices his favorite dishes prepared on table as Manisha greets him. She then questions Rudd regarding Luna's identity and surprisingly, Rudd starts thinking about how cute his sister is. He then introduces Luna and on the inside, he is still thinking about Manisha's cuteness. He even thinks that a goddess has descended from the heavens. Manisha also introduces herself to Luna and asserts that she feels comfortable. She then asks Rudd to settle down and eat as he must be tired from the long journey. In the meantime, she will prepare some more dishes. Rudd, however, asks her to take it easy, but Manisha insists that she's feeling well. Despite this, Rudd offers to help her, to which she agrees. All this time, Luna keeps wondering about Manisha's hair that keeps swaying and questions Rudd regarding this. Rudd tells her that Manisha has physical idiosyncrasy and her hair basically depicts her emotions. He then asks Manisha if she knew about his return owing to her skill, to which she replies positively. After preparing food, the 3 of them settle down and commence eating. They notice that Luna has a weird way of holding a spoon, and as they point this out, Luna begins apologizing as she remembers her past. She keeps apologizing and reassures them to amend this mistake. Hearing this, Manisha approaches her and teaches her the correct way. She also promises to teach her everything one by one, which shocks Luna. Following all this, Rudd and Manisha teach Luna the basics of life, and in just 3 days, she learnt everything. She even made food for them, which shocks Rudd as he wonders if all homunculus learn this fast. After eating, Manisha suggests Rudd to show Luna around the town. Rudd appreciates this suggestion and agrees, hoping that others will like her too. This makes Luna insanely happy as Manisha even offers her dress to her. Rudd finds Manisha acting like a big sister, insanely cute. Manisha then offers Luna to help her change, but she refuses, which makes Manisha wonder if she did anything to upset her. Rudd realizes that Luna is scared of revealing her magic gem. Following this, Rudd takes Luna outside and tells her everything related to this small town. As they are wandering around, they come across Meline's father, who asks if he is here to make grandchild with her. Rudd asks him to stop joking around and introduces him to Luna. After these polite introductions, Rudd remembers that he still doesn't have a sword and asks him to make one for him. Meline's father is insanely confident in his abilities and asks Rudd to leave everything to him. He then suggests showing Luna the monstrous farm. Upon reaching the farm, Rudd reveals that these monstrous vegetables are actually plants that grow into monsters. He further educates her that they only require mana and can be grown in any season. In the meantime, some naughty kids approach them, asking if Rudd has brought his girlfriend and is finally free from his Siscon curse. Rudd, however, denies these accusations and introduces Luna as his acquaintance. The kids then mock him for not getting a girlfriend since he is obsessed with his sister. With all of this going on, an old lady also approaches them and scolds the children for wasting time, urging them to get back to work. This makes Luna remember her past, where an old lady used to beat her, and she begins trembling. The old granny recognizes Rudd and even mistakes Luna for her girlfriend. Rudd then introduces her as the doctor who makes medicine for Manisha. The old granny then comments on how Luna resembles Manisha when she was young, and Rudd agrees. Granny even offers Manisha to visit her shop anytime she needs anything. She then offers to accompany them since she is going to harvest some spinach. As they are conversing, some adventurers approach them, and together, all of them harvest some fruits from the monstrous trees. On their way back, Rudd apologizes for their weird remarks and even comments on how pretty Luna actually is, which makes her blush. Seeing her expressions, Rudd asks her to taste the fruit they brought and explains how life in this town is a bit slow, but he likes it. Luna also agrees with him, considering how considerate everyone is, wishing that she wants to live here forever. Suddenly, she grabs Rudd's hand and puts it on her chest, revealing that she is actually a homunculus. She reveals that she is a battle homunculus created by the neighboring country and apologizes for not telling him earlier, as she believed that he might kill him. Tears begin rolling down her cheeks as she further reveals that she was feeling guilty for lying to him. Hearing all this, Rudd also reveals that he knew about Luna's identity all along, which shocks Luna. She then asks the reason behind helping her. Rudd tells her that he and Manisha used to live in slums, and she reminds him of Manisha back then. Despite their struggles, they never forgot to be humans. He then asks Luna if she wants to live as a human or homunculus. Luna contemplates that she cannot live as a human since that is unrealistic, but Rudd motivates her because he wanders around the labyrinth for a similar reason, searching for the secret treasure that can cure Manisha's illness. Since both of them are chasing shadows, it's wise to team up. Hearing all this, Luna shakes hands with Rudd and starts believing that she can lead a normal human life. She even calls Rudd master since it is her instinct. Upon reaching home, Luna reveals the secret to Manisha as well, which shocks her. Despite this, Manisha asks Luna to continue being her friend as both of them share a wholesome moment. Manisha also realizes that Rudd already knew this, and she's really proud of him for helping people. The following day, Rudd and the others are tasked with cleaning a massive mansion. After a long day of work, Manisha brings tea for everything, and seeing them simping over her makes Luna realize how popular Manisha is. In the meantime, Fee also appears at the spot and comments on how obsessed Rudd is with his sister. Rudd, however, ignores her and asserts Manisha to rest up since she has been working all this time. Hearing this, Manisha reassures him that she isn't overexerting herself or anything, and that she doesn't want to be a burden. As they are conversing, some adventurers approach Rudd and challenge him to a duel. Rudd accepts their challenge, but reveals that he wants to battle Fee first, as he wants to test his skills. With this, their battle begins. Both of them are going all out as Manisha tells Luna that both of them are extremely talented fighters. Fee believes that she is overpowering Rudd, but he turns it around by using the skill life conversion that allows him to convert his damage to offense, and he depletes all her absorb shield with just one move. He also appreciates Fee, stating that she has grown stronger since their last encounter. Following this battle, Rudd challenges the other adventurers, but after witnessing his skills, all of them refuse to battle him. Manisha is extremely by her brother and is disappointed in herself. Back when Manisha's parents abandoned her because of her disease, people were pitying her, but Rudd was the one who left their parents and saved her. Suddenly, Manisha wakes up from this traumatizing dream, wondering if her brother is truly happy. She also wonders if she disappears, would that solve all his problems? Rudd wakes up and greets Manisha as she prepares breakfast for them. Rudd offers to help her, but she refuses. This confuses Rudd, but he settles down at the table. In the meantime, Luna also appears at the spot and apologizes for being late, urging that she'll prepare breakfast quickly. However, she gets shocked to see that Manisha has already made breakfast. Manisha also comments on her bedhari, stating that she is not a morning person. Luna, however, keeps apologizing for not being useful even though Rudd saved her. In response, Rudd tells her to stay calm since they're supposed to help each other out. Luna then questions them regarding their insane skill set and how they are so knowledgeable even though they lived in the slums. Rudd tells her that they underwent apprenticeship back when they were kids. At that time, the nobles had organized a program to educate kids in the slums. Owing to their efforts, Rudd and Manisha were able to attend the night school. Rudd then asks Manisha if she needs anything from the town, to which she replies negatively, and Rudd leaves. After all this, Manisha reminisces about the time when both of them studied in the Knight Academy. Rudd was considered a prodigy and was expected to become a knight. However, one day, Manisha overhears some people talking about Rudd becoming an adventurer for Manisha's sake, and she is holding him back. According to Manisha, her existence closed off many paths that stretched before her brother. As she is lying alone, pondering about all this weird stuff, Luna also appears at the spot and questions her regarding this. Manisha reveals that she was wondering about her past as Luna attempts to cheer her up. She then asks Luna a vague question, urging if someone was wasting their life for her, what would she do? Luna responds by stating that she doesn't know anyone like this, but she believes that doing something like this probably makes that person happier. She also realizes that Manisha is talking about Rudd and urges Manisha to hash this out with Rudd. According to her, Rudd is quite different from others, and the only thing that can put her mind to ease is communication. In the meantime, Manisha senses that Rudd is approaching the house and starts fidgeting. After Rudd gets back home, Manisha confronts him regarding this topic. Even though she is scared that Rudd regrets saving her, Luna encourages her. Mustering all her courage, Manisha questions Rudd if he is happy with his life. In response, Rudd replies positively, causing Manisha to ponder how he could express such sentiments. She further confers the reason behind saving her as Rudd reveals that she also saved him back when they were kids. As a kid, Rudd was always huge and other children refused to play with him and avoided him, but Manisha was different. She always loved him and never treated him differently. He further tells Manisha that the time they spend together is the happiest for them. Hearing this, Manisha rushes towards Rudd and hugs him passionately. She also apologizes for thinking this way and assuming things about Rudd. This wholesome moment concludes as both of them express their gratitude towards Luna for encouraging Manisha. Without her, she would have never expressed her thoughts. Hearing all this, Luna gets flattered and rushes towards the kitchen to prepare lunch. With all of this going on, someone knocks at the door. As Rudd opens the door, he gets shocked to see that it is Nin and questions her presence there. She wonders how Kyglis granted her permission to visit him, but Nin clarifies that she's not a member of Hero's party anymore, which further shocks Rudd. She further reveals that they failed to clear Labyrinths after Rudd left their party. During their battle against a Labyrinth monster, Kyglis and the others were struggling. Their absorb shields were depleting significantly, and Kyglis failed to comprehend the reason behind this. At one point, he regretted leaving Rudd behind, but being the type of person he is, he proceeds to ambush the monster, utilizing his skill Life Burst. This skill further depletes his absorb shield, but he manages to defeat one monster. In the meantime, some other monsters also spawned there, and now that he cannot use his Life Burst, the monsters absolutely obliterated him. With his comrades' help, they somehow managed to escape, but Kyglis got gravely injured in the process. After all this, Kyglis gets admitted to the hospital, where he keeps blaming his comrades for their repeated failures. Nina, however, is tired of all this and retorts to his statement. She asserts that his reckless methods and the fact that he stopped training is the reason behind their failures. Kyglis, on the other hand, is still not accepting his failure, but Nina asserts to him that Rudd was the reason they survived all this time. The reason Kyglis was able to recklessly utilize life bursts was owing to Rudd's skill, and his absorb shield value of 9,999 made him even stronger. Despite these arguments, Kyglis keeps blaming them as Nina and the others decide to leave the party. Hearing all this, Rudd apologizes for what happened as Nina also admits her fault for not realizing his skill. Rudd further states that he's the one to blame since he didn't appraise his skills earlier. With no other option, Nina suggests not dwell on the past. In the meantime, Manisha and Luna also appear at the spot, introducing themselves to Nina. She then reveals that she's planning to stay in this village for a while, which shocks Rudd. This makes Nina wonder if he wants her to leave, but Rudd reassures her that it's not the case. He tells her that there are no inns in this village as Manisha suggests Nina to stay with them. Rudd hesitates a bit since Nina is the daughter of a duke, which makes her a saint. He doesn't want to get in trouble with the church for providing inadequate facilities to a saint. After this, Rudd offers Nina to stay in his room and that he'll sleep in the living room. Hearing this, Nina jokes about them sleeping in the same room, but Rudd urges her to stop this. Nina, however, reveals that she is joking around, which embarrasses both of them. In the meantime, Fee appears at their home, revealing that a mysterious monster has appeared and is ravaging the orchard. Rudd and the others rush towards the orchard only to witness a massive monster with a strong aura around him. With such a thick aura, Rudd cannot comprehend the identity of this monster, but as soon as Nina clears it away, he realizes that it's a wolf. Rudd also comes across Fee's father, who is attempting to subjugate the monster alongside other knights. Rudd uses his provoke skill to attract the monster, while others attempt to weaken it. He manages to tank a massive blow from the monster, allowing others to ambush it, but the monster realizes their tactic and counterattacks. This depletes Rudd's absorb shield since he is using his shield of sacrifice skill. With Luna and Nina healing him, Rudd keeps on tanking the attacks, while others attack the monster. Realizing that it is getting overwhelmed, the monster attempts to leave, but Luna halts its movements. To finish things off, Rudd converts the accumulated damage into an offensive move using his skill and absolutely obliterates the monster. He somewhat destroys the orchard as well in the process and wonders if the villagers would scold him, but much to his surprise, all of them rush towards him, appreciating his efforts. They are glad that they defeated the monster without a single casualty. Rudd is still pondering about that monster with 2 crystals as in the meantime, Manisha appears at the spot. Much to Rudd's surprise, she sits on his lap and urges him to read the newspaper for her. Even though she can read herself, but seeing her glistening eyes, Rudd has no other option but to submit to her will. As they go through the newspaper, Rudd comes across some articles suggesting the emergence of a labyrinth in Abancia and Kyglis ventures. Manisha comments that Nin hates Kyglis because he used to make fun of Rudd, as Rudd asserts that she has some personal affliction to this matter. Hearing this, Manisha realizes that Rudd is well aware of Nin's feelings for him and wonders if he avoids her because of her illness. In response to this, Rudd asserts that he's a weak person and if he gets into such a relationship, he fears that he'll get attached to it. Manisha, however, reassures him that he'll be fine and that he has to stop thinking about her. Following this, Fee and the others gather in the forest to get rid of the chameleon Kong that has appeared out of nowhere. Rudd, Nin, and Luna are also participating in this raid with Fee leading them. Some random adventurers are also participating alongside them. As Fee is delivering her motivational speech, Nin notices a sword with Rudd and questions him regarding this. Rudd tells her that he got it from a skilled father-daughter swordsmith duo and further explains that besides being extremely tough, this sword also possesses an enchant skill. Different elements can be used to change the magic stone's mana and enchant the weapon, as he demonstrates this as well, converting the sword into a fire-type weapon. Seeing this, the other adventurers who are accompanying them mock Rudd for using such a high-rank weapon despite being an F rank. This pisses off Luna, but Rudd calms her down as Nin boasts that Rudd is strong enough to be named a knight by a saint like her. This shocks the adventurers as Rudd further explains that if you raise your rank, the guild starts summoning you for missions and that would hinder his real purpose. With all of this going on, the chameleon Kong appears from the forest and ambushes Fee and the others. They somehow manage to evade his attacks as Rudd utilizes his provoke skill to divert its attention towards him. With Rudd protecting them, things were going smoothly, but he realizes that something is off. The Kong's large swings and attention-seeking roars reminded him of a human tank. Rudd's realization was slightly late as some other Kongs also appear at the spot and ambush them. Now that they are surrounded, Fee feels demotivation, but Rudd incites her to act like a leader. With this, he utilizes his provoke skill to attract the Kongs towards him. This shocks the newbie adventurers as they believe Rudd won't be able to handle 3 Kongs at once, but much to their surprise, these Kongs are no match for him as Rudd manages to evade their attacks rather easily. With their attention diverted towards Rudd, Luna and the others manage to get rid of one of them. Rudd then encounters another one, and this time around, he enchants his sword with fire after remembering that chameleon Kongs are weak to it. With Fee landing the finishing blow, the second Kong is also down. Now, Rudd is up against the tank Kong who ambushes him with an onslaught of attacks. With Nin and Luna's help, Rudd takes down the third and last chameleon Kong as well. After this, the rookie adventurer approaches Rudd and apologizes for his remarks. Rudd affirms that an adventurer's ability is determined by his rank, and if someone's rank is low, it's safe to assume that they are weak. Suddenly, the chameleon Kongs they had defeated turn into dust, and Rudd realizes that something is off. He then notices a labyrinth entrance in the forest which was previously suspected by experts as well. That night, a massive celebration took place at the palace as the villagers are looking forward to the future. Manisha informs Luna that the emergence of a labyrinth will lead to the town's progress, and it might also halt the population decline. As they are conversing, a random guy approaches Manisha and offers her a drink. Seeing this, Rudd threatens him and offers to share the drink instead of Manisha. As they leave, Nin approaches Luna, asking if she's having fun, to which she replies positively. Luna, however, feels that Rudd is not happy with all this as Nin explains that Rudd is worried about the town's safety. She explains that even though labyrinths bring prosperity to a town, there are some drawbacks as well. The monsters that are undefeated might leave the labyrinth and wreck the entire town. Besides this, different types of adventurers visit to explore the dungeon. Some of these adventurers are the worst kind of people that follow cute girls like Luna and Manisha. Hearing all this, Luna questions the solution to this problem, with Rudd asserting that they have to formulate clans. He further explains that adventurers who are members of any clan are officially recognized by the nation and are responsible for defending towns like knights. As they are conversing, Fee appears out of nowhere and hugs Rudd, stating that he's a good boy. After some time, adventurers from all over the country have gathered in Avancia, and the town's infrastructure has improved a lot. With all of this going on, Rudd is patrolling the town as he comes across some adventurers who are fighting over something, and he disciplines them. Nin also joins him on the patrol as both of them wander around the town. Nin appreciates Rudd for his hard work these past few days, and as they are conversing, someone informs them about another fight. Rudd rushes towards them where 2 A-rank adventurers are clashing over something. Rudd confronts them and tells them off, but the adventurers ignore him altogether, stating that they are defending their clan's honor. Rudd, however, is persistent, so the adventurer offers him to settle their issue of which clan should stay in this town. Confidently, Rudd responds to them by asserting that they don't need any of them, so they can leave the town. Hearing this, the adventurers get hostile towards him, and in the meantime, Nin also appears at the spot and threatens them. Rudd further states that this town has its own rules, and if they want to fight, he will take them on gladly. With this, the adventurers apologize for their misconduct and leave without causing any trouble. They even tried to recruit Rudd, but he refused. In the meantime, someone informs Rudd that Mr. Vild is waiting for him at the headquarters. Upon reaching the headquarters, Vild informs Rudd that the Lord has contacted him himself regarding the town's situation. According to him, the Lord wants Rudd to formulate a clan and become its leader. However, if he doesn't want that, he has to accompany some other clan and destroy the labyrinth's entrance. According to him, several labyrinths have appeared all across the nation, and it would get difficult to manage all of them. He knows that it is a difficult choice for him, but he has to choose one of these. After this, as Rudd is wandering around the town, he comes across some adventurers who are fighting and intercepts them, but the adventurers ignore him. This makes Rudd wonder if formulating a clan is the only option. In the meantime, Luna appears at the spot and informs him that Manisha is severely ill as Rudd rushes back home where Grandma Gigi is treating her. She informs him that Manisha is under the weather and will eventually get better. Seeing this, Rudd decides that he cannot leave Manisha alone and decides to destroy the labyrinth entrance. He informs Luna and Nin regarding his decision, which shocks them. After hearing all this, Luna questions Rudd if he can choose someone to lead the clan in his stead after things have settled down, to which he replies positively. She then offers to protect the town just like Rudd helped her back then. Even though Rudd is a bit hesitant, Nin also reassures him that she will support her since she wants to stay in this town. Manisha also appears from her room with Grandma Gigi's support and motivates Rudd to form a clan. She reassures him that she's no longer the militia he has to protect all the time and that it's about time he thinks for himself. Hearing all this, Rudd vows to protect both militia and this town. Following reassurance by Luna and Nina, Rudd is prepared to formulate his own clan and conquer the Labyrinth to accomplish his dreams. However, before he could proceed with all this, some adventurers reached out to him to help them explore Avancia's labyrinth. Surprisingly, these adventurers are actually Rudd's former party members. Upon meeting them, they formally introduce themselves even though they know each other and also come across some new faces. In the end, they meet Kyglis, the hero who had kicked out Rudd from his party. Nin immediately approaches him and questions the reason behind summoning Rudd. Kyglis reveals that they encountered a sentient guardian in the dungeon and their battle led to him being injured. Rudd gets shocked after hearing this as they haven't been able to converse with any sentient guardian before this. Kyglis then asks Rudd to explore the dungeon in his stead as Lily clarifies that it is his way of apologizing. Kyglis has also realized his mistake and the fact that Rudd was the reason he was able to fight for so long, further expressing his gratitude. With this, Rudd and the others proceed towards the dungeon. Upon entering the labyrinth, they come across a magic circle that teleports them to a vast field of grass which shocks Luna. Nin and Rudd explain the basics of traveling inside a labyrinth and how they have to find another magic circle to escape. Nin then explains that Lily possesses a skill known as Dungeon Walk that allows them to travel from one floor to another without the need of magic circles. Besides this, there is another spell that allows them to escape from the labyrinth without magic circles as Nin demonstrates this to Luna. Amazed by this, Luna attempts to cast the spell herself and succeeds. At that moment, Lily warns them regarding 3 chameleons heading towards them. Rudd instructs all of them to assume battle position and provokes the chameleons to target him. Owing to their remarkable teamwork, Rudd and the others manage to take down the chameleons rather easily. With all of this going on, a mysterious entity is following their actions and is quite impressed by them. Lily reveals that last time they encountered the sentient on the 5th floor, but he's not here this time around. In the meantime, Rudd and the others come across some other monster as well, but instead of engaging them in battle, they prioritize saving their strengths for the final battle. The entity keeps following their actions and cannot wait to meet them. Upon reaching the 9th floor, things get a bit sentimental as Rudd expresses his gratitude to all of them for accompanying him for his selfish reasons. Hearing this, Lily comments that they understand his reasoning since he wants to save his sister, with all of them agreeing with her. With this, all of them proceed towards the final floor with Nin reminding him that their true test is still to come. As soon as they reach the 10th floor, the sentient guardian reveals himself and appreciates their skills. He further asserts that he wasn't expecting such strong adventurers to reach there, and with this, he welcomes them to his labyrinth and formally introduces himself as the guardian of this labyrinth, Marius. Hearing this, Rudd questions his presence there since they last encountered him on the 5th floor. Marius reveals that he wanted to fully test their abilities so that he wouldn't have to hold back. He then announces this floor as his domain and formally challenges Rudd to a battle. Just as he assumes his battle stance and ambushes Rudd, he realizes just how overwhelmingly strong Marius actually is. Marius is also impressed that Rudd managed to block his strike as Rudd ascertains that he is not here to challenge and that they can sort things out via dialogue. Marius, however, asserts that men converse through clash of swords as he unleashes his full potential. Rudd realizes that he let his guard down as he's up against a sentient guardian who can kill them. Under Rudd's leadership, Lily and the others are somehow keeping up with Marius, who seems unbothered by all this even though he is impressed by their coordination. With no other option left, Marius decides to unleash his full potential, which turns him into an actual monster as he further warns all of them to flee if they want to survive. Suddenly, Marius transforms into a massive skeleton as Rudd surmises from his roar that he's overwhelmingly overpowered, but they cannot turn back now. Once again, Marius ambushes Rudd, who somehow manages to parry his attacks. With his support, Lily and the others keep attacking Marius, but their attacks seem futile. In the meantime, their absorb shield is also depleting as Rudd ascertains that he might die if Marius manages to strike him. He instructs Lily and the others regarding their roles as he provokes Marius towards him. Before leaving for the labyrinth, Rudd and the others had a strategic meeting where they figured that this would be a battle of endurance. Lily comments that under normal circumstances, they'd be at a disadvantage, but now that they have Rudd accompanying them, things are slightly better. His shield of sacrifice and life conversion are skills that can alter the tide of this battle. With the battle prolonging, Lilia and the others are losing their edge and Luna is worried about them, but Nin reminds her that they are supposed to stay behind. She further reassures her that as long as they keep standing, the front line won't fall. With this, Rudd also noticed that Marius' movements are getting sloppy and decides to seize this opportunity to unleash his trump card, life conversion. However, much to his surprise, Marius realizes this beforehand and targets him. Just as things are looking dim, Luna saves him. This grants Rudd the opportunity to land the decisive blow as Luna wonders if they have managed to defeat Marius. Unfortunately, Marius is still alive, which shocks all of them. Rudd, however, is confident that his attack was effective and contemplates if he can land another blow. In the meantime, Marius launches massive towards them, which Rudd blocks rather easily. At that moment, Lily collapses to the ground as Lilia rushes towards her. Sugol also suffers a lethal strike from Marius and starts trembling as he reassures Rudd that he can keep fighting. This makes Rudd realize that he's forcing all of them to sacrifice themselves for his selfish dream and decides to retreat. Hearing this, Nin questions the reason behind this as Rudd tells her that being the leader of this party, it's his responsibility to guarantee their safety. This pisses off Nin as she cannot comprehend that Rudd is giving up on his dream after making it this far. Sugol also reminds him not to underestimate him and that he's prepared to die. Nin further forbids him to utter pathetic things like running away as tears roll down her cheeks. Hearing this makes Rudd remember his goal. In the meantime, Lily and Lilia fuse themselves, transforming into Lily as they ask Rudd to let them handle this. Seeing all his comrades giving their best, Rudd gets insanely pumped up and unleashes another life conversion after Sugol loses his absorb shield. However, it is still not enough to take Marius down as Rudd prepares himself to lose his absorb shield so he can unleash another strike. Finally, Rudd has managed to take down Marius, who returns back to his normal form. He is overly impressed by his abilities and accepts his defeat, asking Rudd to decapitate him. However, being the type of guy he is, Rudd refuses to take him and instead questions him regarding the secret treasure that can grant any wish. Hearing this, Marius hands over the magic stone and instructs him on how to use it. He then asks Rudd to finish him off, but he refuses once again, stating that Avancia will suffer massive losses if this labyrinth vanishes and asks Marius to keep serving as the labyrinth's guardian. This shocks him, but he accepts Rudd's proposal, and with this, Rudd has managed to acquire the secret treasure. Upon reaching home, he hands over the treasure to Manisha, urging her to utilize it. Manisha, however, refuses to accept it, but Rudd insists and Manisha has no other choice but to agree. With this, she uses the treasure to cure her illness, and seeing this, Rudd hugs her with tears rolling down his cheeks. Adventurers from all around the globe are excited to enter the labyrinth of Avancia. Rudd also realizes that the town has changed a lot, and to keep everything in check, Rudd has to interfere in fights. As he is thinking about all this, Boo and Girly also appear at the spot, commenting that he's looking pale and that it must be difficult dealing with all these things soon after becoming the leader. They further assert that he should get someone to help him run things, as Rudd reveals that he wants them to do something. After this, Rudd gets back to the clan office where Nin wonders if there was another fight. He understands the reason behind all this, since monsters like Fieldosaurs attract a hefty amount of adventurers owing to their perks. She also affirms that they'll need to hire more people to run the clan, with Rudd agreeing to her as well. With Manisha already handling the paperwork, they cannot push her anymore, and Rudd also tried recruiting Lilia, but she refused, stating that she doesn't know how to teach anyone and that they should try forming an alliance with other clans. She further tells him that they should form an equal alliance in such circumstances, otherwise there won't be any point. She also realizes that big clans won't agree to forming an alliance unless they offer something beneficial in return, and at this point, they don't possess anything to offer. Nin also cannot think of anything to offer something right away, with Rudd commenting that all they can offer is combat strength. Hearing all this, Nin comments that Rudd is turning out to be an exceptional leader and that they might become a big clan sooner than she expected. Rudd, however, notices that Nin sounds a bit disappointed about this and questions her regarding this. Nin explains that if they become a big clan, they would have less alone time. With all of this going on, Rudd keeps staring at her thin legs and starts blushing. Nin then suggests that they can use her influence to hire people if things don't work, but Rudd bluntly rejects this proposal, asserting that he'll never use her like this. At that point, Marius appears out of nowhere, requesting Rudd to manage the labyrinth in his stead. Rudd, on the other hand, refuses to help him since he is way too busy with Marius, suggesting that he'll become a clan member and help stop the fights. Despite all this, Rudd is concerned that a labyrinth guardian is hanging outside the labyrinth so casually, but Marius reassures him. Rudd then questions him if he possesses any grudge against humanity, to which he replies negatively. With no other option left, Rudd allows Marius to become a clan member. This puts a massive smile on his face and he heads back to the labyrinth. Rudd also follows him to the labyrinth where Marius opens a secret passage and takes him to the place from where he controls the labyrinth. Marius teaches him everything regarding replicating monsters and how to spend points on them. In this process, Rudd manages to summon a slime that takes a liking to him. Despite all this, Rudd asks Marius to manage the labyrinth for some time until he formulates a strategy to attract more adventurers. After this, Rudd leaves the labyrinth alongside the slime and takes it to Manisha and Luna. Slightly hostile in the beginning, Luna and Manisha also deem the slime adorable, and following some careful consideration, they name the slime Lime. In the meantime, Wu conveyed Rudd's proposal to his clan leader, but they bluntly rejected it, stating that they won't collaborate with such a measly clan. Despite this, Rudd was sent an invitation to attend the annual ball of the two major clans. Following some days, Rudd and the others reached the town of Kield with Lily and Lilia accompanying them as well. Before all this, Rudd and the others had a meeting regarding the invitations to the ball. Manisha deems this an achievement, but Nin realizes that there is something wrong with these invitations and questions Rudd regarding this. He clarifies that the clans have rejected their proposal to formulate an alliance and have demanded Nin in exchange for their cooperation. He further explains that Nin is quite famous as a saint, and keeping this in mind, all of the clans are quite wary of this fact. Hearing all this, Nin questions Rudd regarding his decision, and in response to this, Rudd states that he won't let her go no matter what happens. Despite all this, Rudd still plans to attend the ball since he wants to meet the clan leaders. At that moment, Marius remembers that he saw another labyrinth with a sentient guardian like him, and it was most probably the Kield labyrinth. Rudd realizes that if they manage to acquire another magic stone, he might be able to cure Manisha's illness completely. Nin, on the other hand, comments that not even the two big clans have managed to cross floor 50 of the Kield labyrinth. Rudd, however, is quite confident in his clan's abilities and vows that he'll do everything to formulate an alliance and acquire the magic stone. In the present, Rudd and the others have reached the ball arena in formal dresses. Rudd literally can't take his eyes off Nin and even starts blushing. The other girls, including Luna, Lily, and Lilia, are also looking drop-dead gorgeous, and with this, they enter the ball. After some time, the prestigious guests of the ball also arrive, and most of them are shocked to see Nin there, contemplating the reason behind this. Some of them even comment that her clan would be joining the two big clans, which makes Rudd realize that there's a massive misunderstanding regarding the clan's leadership. In the meantime, Marius questions if he can eat the food there, to which Rudd replies positively. As they are savoring the food, the presenters of this ceremony, the vice leaders of the two major clans, appear at the stage. Rudd was expecting the leaders to greet the guests and gets shocked by this. At that moment, the presenters introduce Saint Nin to the guests and invite her to the stage. Realizing that they are attempting to shunt Rudd's presence there, Nin asks him to accompany her. Rudd immediately understands the assignment and grabs her hand. Upon reaching the stage, the presenter questions Nin regarding her interest in adventuring, commenting that they were not expecting her to become an adventurer. In response to this, Nin asserts that she's always been fascinated by adventuring and all of these are baseless. The presenter then questions the presence of Rudd there, who takes the initiative and introduces himself as the clan leader of Avancia. Hearing this, the presenter mocks Rudd for his past with the hero and his status as a tank, suggesting that tanks are quite useless. Wasting no further time, he offers Nin to join their clan, asserting that someone like her shouldn't be wasting her time in such a useless clan. Hearing all this, Rudd interferes in their conversation and refuses to let any of them have Nin. The presenter then questions the reason behind their presence there, as Rudd reveals that he wants to formulate an alliance. This shocks all of them and they start mocking him. The presenter once again questions Nin if she wants to stay with Rudd, to which she replies positively, further stating that Rudd is the strongest tank. With this, Rudd borrows the mic from the presenter and announces that he's here to raid the Labyrinth of Kield, boasting that they will reach the 51st floor of the labyrinth. Suddenly, the leader of the clan appears at the spot and appreciates Rudd for his bravery. He also scolds his underling for underestimating guys like Rudd and introduces himself as Gosh, the leader of Black Dragon Fang. As soon as they shake hands, Rudd realizes how incredibly strong Gosh actually is. Gosh then announces that if Rudd manages to reach the 51st floor, they'll be willing to formulate an alliance with him. With this, Ms. Loodle, the leader of the White Tiger Claw, also appears at the spot and puts forward a similar proposal. After all this, they get back to the inn where Marius expresses his anger over the fact that they didn't appreciate Rudd's strength, but Rudd clarifies that you cannot tell how strong someone is just by looking at them. After this, Nin expresses his gratitude towards Rudd for protecting her earlier. Rudd knows that it won't be easy fulfilling this mission, but he has to do it for his friends and family. As Rudd is heading back towards his room, he gets confronted by Lily, who forces him into her room. He gets shocked to see Lily standing half naked in front of him as suddenly, she asks him to tie the strings on her back and Rudd agrees. Lily expresses her gratitude as now she can serve tea to her sister in this maid outfit. Rudd is also glad that he could help, and as he is about to head out, Lily stops him once again, asserting that she wants to ask him some questions. Lily expresses that she was impressed by Rudd's declaration at the ball. She further tells him that she's way too embarrassed to reveal her intentions to anyone and urges her to not laugh at her. Rudd reassures that he won't laugh as Lily reveals that she wants to support herself and not be a burden on her sister anymore. According to her, whenever her sister is around, she doesn't have to worry about anything, and she has been protecting her since their childhood. Even during battles, all she can do is support Lilia from the back, even though both of them are adept at magic. Even when they fuse together, Lilia's personality dominates and makes the decision. Rudd understands her sentiments and the fact that it would be difficult to talk about this stuff to her own sister. He also reassures her that he'll cooperate with her in this regard, which makes her insanely happy, and she starts jumping around. In this process, she tumbles and falls on Rudd as suddenly, Lilia also enters the room. Upon seeing all this, she gets insanely furious and instructs him to follow her to the rooftop. On the rooftop, Rudd wonders if Lilia is going to push her off, but much to his surprise, she was just bluffing. She further asserts that someone like Rudd won't do anything like that to someone's precious sister. Lilia then delves into her and Lily's backstory, how their father used to abuse them, and it is quite rare for Lily to engage in a conversation with a guy. She then reveals her intentions to take Lily to a place where she can be truly happy. This makes Rudd realize that both of them love each other, as he tells Lilia that her sister believes that she is perfect. Hearing this, Lilia exclaims that she is far from perfect, with Rudd agreeing as well. With this, Lilia decides to leave as Rudd affirms that she can rely on him for anything. The following day, Rudd and the others reach the Labyrinth, where Lily and Lilia were already waiting for them. Lily discloses that the dungeon explorers escorted her to the 49th floor and they can now utilize Dungeon Walk to reach that floor. Lilia had also gathered some intel regarding the dungeon monsters and the attack strategies of different clans, including the two major clans. According to her intel, the Black Dragon Fang and the White Tiger Claw, both focused on speed-focused compositions, utilizing their strongest attackers as tanks as well. Upon entering the dungeon, Rudd explains their attack strategy, asserting that he will lead the formation with Marius bringing up the rear and Luna being the melee. As he is explaining all this, Lily interferes with the conversation and volunteers to issue commands during the battle. This shocks all of them, but Rudd agrees to her, and with this, the challenge begins. Wandering around the dungeon, Rudd realizes that this space is not suitable for speed-focused formations, but it would be convenient for him as a tank. At that point, they come across two parallel entrances, both leading to the same exit. This makes them realize that they are definitely dealing with a tricky guardian. Suddenly, monsters appear from both entrances as Marius and Lilia proceed to ambush them. With Rudd's provoke and Marius' destructive power, they somehow manage to take down one of them, but Lily suggests that they make their way through the exit instead of utilizing all their energy here. This decision proves fruitful as all of them manage to escape safely and Lily gets appreciated by her comrades. During this battle, Nin notices that they can decide whether or not they want Rudd to absorb their damage, which shocks him. The conversation proceeds as Marius eventually reveals that he is not a human. This makes Rudd realize that they don't know about him even though they fought him previously, and questions him regarding his identity. With no other option left, Marius reveals that he is actually a demonoid, further stating that long ago, demonoids also used to exist alongside humans and demi-humans, and they look exactly like demi-humans but have sworn loyalty to a demon instead of the god humans worship. He further reveals that even though humans utilize labyrinths to their own benefit, they were primarily formulated to destroy them. This baffles all of them since they have been taught that the labyrinths were created by the gods to enrich their lives. Rudd then questions if Marius is fine with battling his own kind, to which he replies positively, asserting that he hates them for what they are doing with their lives. He then apologizes for turning this into a personal battle even though he accompanied them. Hearing all this, Rudd assures him that he considers him a friend and will keep supporting him till the end. At that point, Lily diverts their attention to the problem at hand, dealing with monsters on the 50th floor. As she explains their strategy, Lilia carefully listens to her. Following this, they speedrun through the 49th floor and eventually reach the 50th floor where they come across a bone dragon. Rudd rushes ahead and utilizes Provoke to divert its attention to himself. Lily had already explained that they'll come across bone dragons on the 50th floor that frequently cause status effects and can potentially disrupt their formation. They had formulated a complete strategy to deal with the status effects with everyone having their dedicated roles. According to her intel, bone dragons are weak to fire and asserts that they should enchant their weapons with fire magic. In the present, Rudd is dealing with the dragon on his own with Lily and the others supporting him. He realizes that getting too close to the dragon might prove fatal and intentionally gets knocked back. In the meantime, Marius and Lilia also appear at the spot to support him. Their plan proceeds quite smoothly until the dragon suddenly releases an O attack and also manages to strike Lilia and Marius. With Luna and Nin healing them, Lily and Rudd ambush the dragon, but much to their surprise, the dragon is no longer responding to Rudd's provoke. At that point, Lily realizes that the dragon is bracing for a massive attack and instructs Rudd to escape, but it was way too late as the monster manages to strike him with a sludge attack and halt his movements. Nin utilizes her magic to get rid of the sludge and free him. Realizing that the battle might stretch long, Nin utilizes her skill to formulate an auto-heal area around them which shocks Marius. The battle continues for one more hour as Rudd and the others are getting exhausted now. At that point, the dragon unleashes a massive attack that could obliterate them, but Rudd gets in the way and protects all of them. His sheer determination and resolve paves the way for others as well, with the battle reaching its summit. To end things, Rudd utilizes his life conversion skill to absolutely obliterate the dragon, and with this, they have cleared the 50th floor of this labyrinth. Despite their victory, they don't intend to proceed to the 51st floor and head back to the town. Upon reaching the town, Lily suggests that they don't immediately sell their materials since it would reveal their progress to the others and people might get in their way. After all this, Nin suggests that they have a customary after-party, but Lilia opts out of it, asserting that she wants to rest as Lily also decides to leave. Rudd, Nin, and Luna are celebrating their triumph as Luna wonders what alcohol really tastes like. Nin suggests that she try it out, with Rudd contemplating if it would be alright for a homunculus to consume alcohol. However, upon seeing Luna's glazing eyes, he allows her to take a sip. As soon as she gulps down the alcohol, Luna comments on how bitter it tastes. After this, Nin comments on how close Rudd has gotten with Lily and Lilia, with Luna agreeing as well. Rudd clarifies that even though they aren't clan members, but they have been helping him out a lot and he's worried that they might be imposing on them. This makes Nin question if there is something else going on between them, as Rudd replies negatively. Upon hearing this, she takes her shot and basically asks Rudd out, only to get brutally rejected by this sister maniac. Luna then questions Rudd regarding his dating status as he states that he isn't dating anyone. This relieves Luna as she takes a deep sigh. She further explains that whenever Rudd is around her, she gets this warm feeling in her chest, urging that she wants to spend more time with him. My man Rudd has that underage riz. Hearing this, Nin also comments on Rudd's popularity. Following this, Rudd heads back to his room where he comes across a beautiful lady lying on his bed and gets shocked by this. However, he immediately gets disappointed when he recognizes her as Lilia. She explains that Marius let her in as she wanted to meet Rudd and accidentally fell asleep. She then comments on Lily's behavior today, asserting that she really worked hard. Rudd also affirms that Lily surprised him with her leadership abilities and the fact that she can do a lot more. Lilia then asks Rudd on his opinion regarding change, questioning if it has ever scared him. Rudd explains that he gets scared when he thinks about what's happening to Avancia, and sometimes it feels like it would be better if things stay the same. For him, even if they don't know if they are doing the right thing, he's still glad that things are changing slightly and that Avancia would have never gotten so lively if things hadn't changed. This makes Lilia view things from a different perspective, and Rudd also realizes that she is scared to see Lily change. Seeing her dismayed expressions, Rudd reassures her that even though things have changed, but Lily and Lilia would stay the same and both of them would always stay together. This puts a smile on Lilia's face as she decides to accept Lily's change and finally look at her. The following day, Rudd and the others reach the labyrinth where they have to clear the 51st floor. According to Lilia, the two major clans have managed to reach the 51st floor so far, and owing to the dense fog, they have to utilize some means other than detection magic. Rudd then explains the roles to all the members as Luna clarifies that she didn't mean anything she said last night. Upon reaching the 51st floor, Lilia attempts to use detection magic, but fails. Rudd then asks Luna to clear the fog using her wind magic, only to be disappointed. Marius explains that fog the most probably made of mana and they can detect monsters if they focus. Rudd takes note of his advice and vaguely detects something approaching them. He warns the others to be wary as suddenly, some creatures attack them. Nin suspects that they are probably Sahagins as they somehow manage to get rid of them. Rudd then notices that the monster haven't completely surrounded them and instructs all of them to escape. In the meantime, the Sahagins ambush Rudd, revealing themselves in the process. Now that they have revealed themselves, Marius and Lilia also take action and get rid of them with Rudd supporting them. After defeating all the Sahagins, Lily suggests that they rest before heading for the next floor. Nin volunteers to cook for them as Luna and Lily help her. Surprisingly, they are having Sahagins for dinner and it seems like we are having some sort of anime crossover here. In the meantime, Rudd and Lilia inspect the materials they have gathered so far with Lilia commenting that it's all top-class stuff. She further tells him that she had no trouble looking towards Lily owing to their conversation yesterday and express her gratitude. After savoring their food, Rudd and the others proceed to the next floor which seems like a boss room as Marius comments that something is approaching them. Suddenly, a magic circle appears out of nowhere with a dark skeleton emerging from it. Alongside the monster, 3 mysterious magic crystals also appear which shocks them. With no other option left, Rudd ambushes the monster, but much to his surprise, the monster blocks his strike with a barrier created by the yellow crystal. At that point, the red crystal launches fire magic towards Rudd which he blocks. Now, only the blue crystal is left and it turns out that this crystal speeds up the monster's movements. Rudd deems the yellow crystal most troublesome and immediately devises a strategy to tackle it. With Marius and Lilia keeping the crystal at bay, Rudd ambushes the monster. At this point, the dark skeleton emits a mysterious light that blinds all of them and soon after, Lilia starts acting strange. She attacks Marius out of nowhere, urging him to not hurt Lily as she reminisces about her past when their father used to beat them. Rudd instructs Nin to cure her, but much to his surprise, the light had also affected Lily and Luna, and Nin is occupied curing them. Rudd hurls the skeleton away with his life conversion skill and switches places with Marius. He pins down Lilia and reassures her that there is no one here who would harm Lily. He realizes that Lilia is seeing visions of her past and the only way to calm her down is by reassuring her. Upon hearing Rudd, tears begin rolling down Lilia's cheeks and she regains her senses. With this, Rudd instructs Marius to retreat and get himself healed up. At that moment, the skeleton launches another fire strike at Rudd who manages to defend himself. To protect himself from fire, he instructs Nin to coat him with her water magic as well. As soon as the fire attack wears off, Rudd ambushes the skeleton only to get blocked by the barrier. However, he notices something strange about the barrier and according to him, it cannot block physical and magical attacks together. This is major breakthrough as further confirmed this fact using Nin's magic. The battle continues as the skeleton keeps blocking their attacks and even attempts to utilize the same beam of light again, but this time around, Nin's magic protects all of them from the status effects. After this, Nin, Luna, and Lily simultaneously launch their attacks, creating a whirlpool of magic. But, despite their efforts, the skeleton is unfazed. With no other option left, Rudd decides to approach the skeleton amidst that whirlpool. Even though his absorb shield gets severely depleted, he utilizes life conversion to make up for it and significantly weakens the skeleton. Just when they believe they have a shot at this, the skeleton splits and all of them ambush Rudd. Seeing that Rudd is in danger, Luna utilizes her skill to identify the real skeleton as Marius and Lilia force it manifest its barrier. With the barrier defending against physical attacks, Nin and Lilia strike the skeleton with their magic. With this, the skeleton has gotten significantly weaker and Rudd also realizes this. He approaches the skeleton all alone and takes it down. Now that they have defeated the boss, Rudd suggests that they head back before proceeding further and Lily begins searching for the magic circle. Surprisingly, Lily informs him that there is no magic circle on this floor which shocks them. Even Marius cannot comprehend what the guardian of this labyrinth is smoking. He postulates that the dark skeleton was the Guardian's masterpiece and now that they have defeated it, the Guardian is scared of them. Suddenly, a mysterious woman appears out of nowhere and attempts to seduce Rudd by biting his neck. But Rudd stays loyal to his sister and brushes off the woman. Suddenly, 4 magic circles appear out of nowhere with dark skeletons emerging from them. Seeing the woman comments on how these weren't supposed to summon here and absolutely obliterates them. Witnessing such inhumane power, Marius speculates if they have come across a demon king. Even though Rudd and the others had defeated the dark skeleton, it seems like they are in some deeper trouble. Marius then tells Rudd that she's the Labyrinth Guardian and that the kawaii girl is Amon the Demon King herself. Amon hits Rudd and his team with a tidal wave of mana, but it does no damage to them and they stay protected from status effects. For Amon, divine skills are super annoying. Rudd then asks her if she is the guardian of the dungeon. Amon says that she is but wonders why they are not afraid of her. My man Rudd seems super chill since Amon the Demon King actually looks like an adorable little girl. Amon laughs and takes this statement as a compliment. Marius then explains to Rudd that this kawaii little girl is actually a 300-year-old hag. This triggers Amon, which makes her attack Marius. She even refers to him as the unsuccessful Demon King. Rudd backs Marius and advises Amon not to attack him, emphasizing their friendship. Amon recognizes that Marius, this supposed failed Demon King, has sided with humans after being defeated. Marius, however, claims he simply despises Demon Kings, which amuses Amon. Amon cautions Marius to stay out of the conflict, asserting that he stands no chance against her. Rudd informs her that she's not just up against him but all 6 members of his team. Amon is confused as to what's his point of yapping all this since she thinks so highly of herself. She maintains there's still no match for her, but Rudd argues that humans explore dungeons in groups because they're much stronger that way. Amon challenges him to see how they fare against Amon Sloth, the guardian of the Keeled Labyrinth. Luna can feel her tremendous mana, but they have no choice other than fighting Amon now. Rudd attacks first with his Shield of Sacrifice ability, which is blocked by Amon's wind attack. He then uses his provoke ability to steal her attention. Rudd is surprised by the power of that wind attack. Marius and Lilia launch their first attack on the Dungeon Guardian, but she whoops both of them together. This makes Lily angry and she says that Amon is going to pay for hurting her sister Lilia while launching a fire attack on Amon along with Luna. Amon deflects their attacks easily using a whirlwind. Rudd complains that despite using provoke, he's unable to get her full attention on him. Rudd continues to attack her, but she can easily evade them and float around like a bubble with her wind magic. Nin forces her down using her magic and Amon calls her a noisy woman for doing that. They launch another attack on her. This time, she scoffs at their random assaults, confident they won't affect her. However, just as she deflects Rudd's attack, Lily unexpectedly appears from behind, unleashing her fire magic. Taking advantage of the distraction, Rudd tosses a flashing magic stone into the air, blinding Amon momentarily. Seizing the opportunity, Marius and Lilia strike again while she is vulnerable, successfully slashing her chest. Suddenly, a surge of mana bursts forth from the slash, creating a powerful windstorm. Amon, caught off guard, decides to transform, underestimating the humans. Meanwhile, Nin swiftly heals the entire team with her circle of healing magic. She acknowledges that Amon is the strongest monster they've encountered yet, but she believes they can prevail if they unite their efforts. Determined, they all agree to fight and defeat Amon, motivated by Rudd's desire to save his sick sister, Manisha. After the windstorm subsides, a massive wolf resembling Fenrir emerges with a thunderous growl. Rudd requests Marius to transform, but Marius declines, fearing he would harm both allies and enemies in beast form, so he opts to stay human. Rudd defends against the wolf's attacks while the others attempt to slash through its fur, which proves as strong as armor. Rudd realizes he's in trouble if he takes a direct hit from those fangs. The wolf's attacks are slowly breaking through his absorb shield. Luna and Lena cast a long-range spell at Amon, but it proves ineffective. Marius uses his power to slash through Amon's leg, causing the wolf to roar loudly in pain. Nin then casts a status effect nullifying spell on the 3 attackers just in case. They then attack the wolf again, but she makes a wind wall around herself to protect her from the attacks. Nin then uses her power to dismiss the wind wall. Now it's their chance to attack the Amon the wolf and they all slash through her and Rudd then attacks her with nearly 30,000 damage that his shield took from her, but the wolf jumps high and uses an offensive wind spell to attack that nearly destroys Rudd's shield. He will die if his shield breaks. He manages to survive the wind spell attack, but that attack manages to hurt Lilia and Marius. Lily then decides to take things in her hand and fuses with Lilia and controls that body for the first time. Although she is unable to use it effectively for the first time, she gets used to it and then lands the final blow on Amon. Amon and Lily are both on the ground now. Rudd approaches Amon, requesting the wish-granting magic stone and inviting her to join him as he did with Marius. He inquires about other demon kings and their objectives. Amon responds that there are others, though she doesn't know how many, and their aim is to determine if they can destroy the human world. Ultimately, Amon agrees to ally herself with Rudd. Later, at the clans ball, they finally make an alliance with the top two major clans, Black Dragon Fang and White Tiger Claw, for conquering the Keeled Labyrinth. After forming the alliance, they decide to go back to Avancia. Rudd misses his little sister Manisha as always. While he is thinking about her, Lily comes up to him and keeps a finger on his mouth so he stays quiet. She then kisses him on his cheeks as an appreciation token for motivating her to fight, which makes Rudd confused and blush all of a sudden. Just as he thinks Lily is sleeping, Lilia comes up to him and thanks him for helping them fight as well. They go on to meet Manisha as soon as they reach Avancia and give her the magic stone to cure her illness. Aman and Manisha then meet each other and get along quickly. At the clan house, Manisha updates Rudd on the important requests from the townsfolk. She mentions their complaints about the smell of adventurers and tourists littering. After briefing Rudd, she rushes upstairs. Rudd admires his sister as she ascends, showing his affection for her. Weird to simp on your own sister though. Rudd is then going through the requests when all of a sudden Nin barges in from the door in a hurry and tells him to come along. She then takes Rudd to a homunculi girl they found lying on the ground. The girl awakens and asks Luna for help, explaining that her friends are stranded in the woods where they were attacked. Rudd and Nin decide to venture into the woods to address the situation, while Luna expresses her wish to join them. Rudd declines her request, emphasizing that she should stay to comfort the girl, having already treated her wounds and provided reassurance. As they make their way towards the woods, Rudd observes that this path also leads to the labyrinth he oversees. They found her friends and saw them fighting with another group of homunculi. According to Nin, one side is forced to fight and has emotions like the girl they just met earlier. Rudd barges in to stop them from fighting and blocks their attack. The emotionless homunculi keep attacking despite Rudd asking them to stop. Rudd inquires the green-haired homunculus if she knows the girl they encountered in town earlier, to which she confirms. He then inquires about the emotionless homunculi, learning they are combat models from Brunkles. This triggers a flashback of Luna, who escaped from Brunkles, prompting Rudd to realize these homunculi are illegal. Nin proceeds to heal the defenders group using her powerful area healing spell. Rudd questions the green-haired girl about whether the emotionless homunculi possess emotions or self-awareness like her. She responds that they do not, their sole purpose is to obey orders to eliminate fugitives. Despite feeling conflicted, Rudd determines he must eliminate the emotionless homunculi. He wrestles with guilt, imagining they could have experienced innocent emotions like Luna, whom he rescued previously. Suddenly, Aman appears and informs Rudd that these homunculi are devoid of emotions and are essentially like dolls brought to life. Rudd then easily takes on the evil homunculi. One of them still attacks him despite losing his arm. Rudd then slashes through the gem on their chests and kills all of them. Rudd then asks the other homunculi to go along with him back to his home. Most of them are anxious and hostile since they have been tortured by humans before in awful conditions. Some of them might even hate humans. The green-haired girl says that they will come along since they are injured and have no place else to go. Rudd escorts them to the clan house where they are provided with food and care. Nin informs Rudd that they need to discuss the homunculi matter with the bailiff, emphasizing that news of this nature will reach higher authorities, potentially endangering them. Despite this, Rudd remains hopeful that Avancia's bailiff, known for being friendly, will listen to their concerns. Upon hearing this, a homunculus named Fair from the rescue group asks to accompany them to meet the town leader, believing it will quicken matters to explain the situation regarding Brunkles firsthand. Rudd and Fair make their way to meet the bailiff, drawing suspicion from townspeople unfamiliar with Fair, a homunculus. Rudd reassures Fair that the people of Avancia are simply cautious, having never encountered homunculi before, and mean no harm. He encourages her not to force a smile while in his company. They talk to the bailiff. He realizes that the rumors regarding Brunkles creating homunculi are also true. Rudd then asks the bailiff if it's possible for the town to provide them with protection. He says that these homunculi can provide the manpower the town lacks. Rudd says that the other homunculi can think and act for themselves just like Fair. The bailiff agrees and says that they are no different from humans and that they are expressive as well. The bailiff expresses surprise and asks why homunculus technology is so unusually advanced. Fair explains that it's attributed to a demon king named Greed. The bailiff is taken aback and questions why a fictional entity like a demon king is associated with Brunkles. Fair admits she doesn't know the specifics, but confirms that Greed's influence has led to advanced technology in the mass production of homunculi. The bailiff understands the situation and assures them that he will relay this information, adding that Avancia will offer protection to the homunculi. As Rudd and Fair stroll along, Fair expresses relief that they will finally settle in town. Rudd cautions her that they will be closely monitored, and inquires about the green-haired homunculi. Fair identifies her as Samamina, describing her as exceptionally caring yet also quite strong as a commander. Rudd informs the remaining homunculi at the clan house that the town will be offering them protection and encouraging them to find employment. He inquires about their skills. Fair mentions their proficiency in crafting clothes, weapons, and aiding in construction, tasks they had mastered back in Brunkles. The mention of work makes many of the homunculi nervous. Rudd understands the situation and alleviates their anxiety by telling them that they will work under reasonable conditions, generally from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. with breaks in between. All of the homunculi are surprised after hearing this. Minitia tells Rudd that the homunculi can build public baths for the town. Rudd then tells Minitia to write a proposal to the bailiff regarding this. Nin then asks Rudd if he has noticed Luna's odd behavior recently. Rudd then speaks with Luna, asking her how she feels about spending so much time with the homunculi. Luna expresses her gratitude to Rudd for taking her in, mentioning that she hasn't revealed to them that she is also a homunculus because it wouldn't be wise to do so yet. She explains that she plans to disclose her identity once the townspeople are no longer afraid of homunculi. Rudd pats Luna on the shoulder, expressing his happiness at having saved her, which brings out strong emotions in her. Rudd is walking alone when Amon comes from behind and shoves her melons on his face. Rudd gently pushes her away, and Amon becomes visibly upset, questioning what would happen if her students witnessed this. Rudd learns that Amon has taken up teaching magic as a way to pass her time and because she finds joy in it. Rudd inquires about the Demon King Greed from Amon. She explains that Greed has always been fascinated with research and likely creates homunculi as a way to experiment and develop the ultimate power. Amon mentions that Demon Kings have unlimited lifespans. Even if they die, they are respawned elsewhere after some time, with their past memories erased. She then tells Rudd that he possesses the ultimate power according to Greed, which is enhancement through mana and through divine power of Absorb Shield, the powers he used against her while fighting. She says that Greed is unable to possess these despite researching all this time. Rudd gets angry when he gets to know that Greed creates homunculi to experiment and that he will defeat him for his inhumane actions. He asks Amon if Greed is located in a labyrinth, to which she responds that Greed is incredibly powerful and Rudd stands no chance against him. Amon then cautions Rudd about using his mana cautiously during battles, as excessive use could potentially transform him into a monster and, with control, even into a Demon King. Rudd declines, stating that he has no interest in becoming a Demon King. The homunculi have been living peacefully in Avancia for the past several weeks. The progress of constructing the public baths is going well as well. Some of the townsfolk feel uneasy having them around. Slowly but surely some of them have acknowledged their efforts. Meanwhile, Rudd continues his mana training in the Avancia Labyrinth with the goal of defeating Greed, the Demon King. Returning to the labyrinth's surface, he finds Nin celebrating a stroke of luck with a gacha pull, obtaining a baby Bavern worth 70,000 points. Lily also pulls Lufair, a demon fairy, and both thank Rudd for allowing them to use his dungeon points. They express admiration for Rudd's role as Labyrinth manager, noting how the monsters adore him. Marius feels jealousy, but Rudd reassures him, commenting that the attention can feel overwhelming at times. The public baths are finally open to everyone in town, but many townsfolk are still hesitant. Rudd and the adventurers take the initiative and decide to be the first to go in and enjoy a bath. Meanwhile, the girls from Rudd's team also head towards the baths. However, Luna opts not to join them because she's uncomfortable with being seen naked. The girls reach the bath and decide to enjoy it to their full heart's content. Minitia is a bit nervous since it's super huge. Lily and Lilia, as usual, pair up to help each other wash. Nin invites Minitia to join her, expressing her desire to finally wash with a friend. Amon gets jealous and says she wants someone to wash her as well. Amon says to Nin that after all that transformation spell practice, it's a shame that the baths are not mixed. Minitia gets confused, but just as Amon is about to tell her, Nin threatens to pack her meals full of vegetables, which Amon hates. Amon panics and tells Nin that she's jealous because she has the biggest melons out of all Rudd's close lady friends. Hearing this makes Lily and Lilia pissed off as well, so they grab Amon's melons to confirm it. They are surprised as to how soft they are while Amon screams. They can hear the noises from men's baths as well. Meanwhile, in the men's bath, Rudd's friends insist on persuading him to let them peek into the girls' bath. Rudd, being protective of his sister Minitia, obviously refuses. Marius climbs up the wall to peek and confesses to Rudd that he's doing it just for the thrill. One of them says he wants to see Manisha and Rudd whoops him. The girls can hear all of this. One of the guys says that he wants to see Ms. Nin's melons, which makes Nin triggered, but the girls calm her down. They all enjoy their bath, and Rudd expresses to Fair and the townsfolk how wonderful it was. Encouraged by the adventurers' positive feedback, the townspeople decide to start using the public baths as well. Several days later, Rudd heads to the baths to thank Samamina, but during this visit, a man rushes toward Rudd with urgent news. He informs Rudd that a horde of nearly 300 monsters is approaching Avancia. The guild issues an urgent request to all adventurers. Rudd gathers them and delivers a speech, informing them that there are approximately 150 monsters approaching. He rallies their spirits by reminding them of their past triumphs, including conquering the Keeled Labyrinth. Rudd promises rewards to all who participate, even if they defeat just one monster. His words inspire the adventurers, and they agree to join the fight. Marius and Amon inform Rudd about the new labyrinth that just formed near the town. Rudd asks if it's connected to this horde of monsters. Amon says it's probably that someone is cloning monsters inside and sending them out of the world. Marius and Amon give their word to support Rudd during this battle as well. The homunculi arrive and tell them to support him as well for saving them the other day. Bavern and Lufair come for help as well. Rudd assigns them both with a task. The homunculi quickly erect a barrier to prevent the monsters from reaching the town. When the monsters finally arrive, the adventurers become anxious as their numbers exceed 300. Rudd reassures them, stating that the creatures ahead are merely goblins and pose no serious threat. The first wave of attacks from archers and magicians swiftly eliminates all the goblins in the front. The remaining goblins use magic and shoot some adventurers in the front. Rudd sees this and takes charge. He uses his superpower Provoke to get their attention and then uses mana enhanced strength to whoop all of them. Rudd even uses his mana to detect everything that is happening. After the battle, Nin restores his absorb shield. Just as they are done with the first horde, another horde shows up with ogres in it this time as well. This time another wave of monsters from Avancia's labyrinth come as well. These monsters are with Rudd and humans and they attack the ogres and other monsters. It is because Rudd told Bavern and Lufair earlier to clone them and send them for their help. Rudd then charges in and destroys all the monsters. Rudd's family and friends arrive to express gratitude, bringing vegetables and spinach for the adventurers. Razel offers free repairs for any damaged weapons. Grandma Gigi embraces a homunculus girl, thanking her for protecting the town. Amon descends and praises Rudd for cloning labyrinth monsters, calling it a smart move. Rudd then informs her of his intention to conquer the newly formed labyrinth to ensure the town's safety. Amon agrees, warning that more monsters will likely come. She also reveals that the labyrinth belongs to Greed, the Demon King, and she can sense his mana nearby. Amon asks Rudd if he plans to recruit Greed after defeating him, similar to how he approached her. Rudd explains that due to Greed's inhumane actions and the homunculi's feelings, he cannot do that. Instead, he intends to capture Greed alive to extract information about Brunkles. Impressed by his intentions, Amon gives Rudd shackles designed to suppress the Demon King's abilities, for which he thanks her. Marius urges Rudd to head straight to the labyrinth, but Rudd declines this time. He explains that Samamina will join the expedition instead, while Marius remains in Avancia to safeguard the town. Rudd expresses his interest in observing Samamina's combat abilities and concerns that Greed may continue sending monsters towards the town while they're occupied in the labyrinth, necessitating protection for Avancia. They enter the labyrinth and it is very odd since there is nothing there. Despite Lily's detection spell, nothing is detected, and they discover there's no magic circle to the next floor. At the labyrinth's lowest level, Rudd senses an immense mana presence. Suddenly, Greed emerges from a portal and introduces himself. Rudd tells him to surrender and close up the labyrinth. He tells him that he will spare his life if he does this. Greed questions why he should surrender. Rudd mentions they've neutralized the monsters he dispatched. In response, Greed shows Rudd a view of the ongoing invasion in town, revealing the horde of monsters he sent. Rudd argues that conquering Avancia with those monsters is impossible. Greed counters, stating he possesses unlimited resources to summon monsters at will. Greed then points out Luna and Samamina, revealing that they are both homunculi. This revelation surprises everyone present. Luna steps forward defiantly, brushing off Greed's revelation with a nonchalant "so what?" This response excites Greed, who sees it as an unexpected development in his research. He urges Luna to return to him, emphasizing the effects of living outside on a homunculus. Luna, however, remains steadfast in her loyalty to her master Rudd and refuses to comply. Nin steps forward, expressing her surprise and asking why she wasn't informed of Luna's true nature. Luna apologizes for keeping this fact hidden from the other girls on Rudd's team. The girls reassure Luna, telling her it's alright and that they will discuss the matter further later on. Greed transforms into his devil form and strikes Rudd's shield forcefully with his first attack. Samamina also attempts to attack Greed but is swiftly knocked down. Rudd intervenes, preventing Samamina from continuing her assault. She responds by stating that as a homunculus, her life is expendable in the fight against Greed. Rudd, unwilling to see anyone sacrifice themselves, urges Samamina to leave, emphasizing that he cannot exploit her for his own gain and must act differently from the humans whom homunculi resent. Greed launches an attack from his hand while they both are talking. Nin and Lily protect them using their magic shield. Rudd uses Provoke on Greed, which makes him pissed off. All of them then launch an attack on Greed. Luna nullifies his magic. This makes Greed get hit, and just as he falls down on the ground, Rudd puts the shackles Amon gave him on his hands. Meanwhile, near the town, Marius and other adventurers are engaged in battle with the monsters. Amon, initially relaxed, changes her mind upon hearing that Manisha plans to make donuts if she joins the fight. Motivated, Amon uses her deadly ability, Chat Magic Valner, to unleash a powerful magic attack on the monsters from above. As they prepare to bring Greed back to town, they notice a gem on his chest. It dawns on them that he is actually a homunculus created in the likeness of Greed, rather than the real Greed himself. The true Greed then reveals himself, explaining that this homunculus was made using his memories and powers. Greed transforms into his devil form and launches a small yet rapid attack on Rudd, causing him to feel dizzy. Rudd realizes that his mana enhancement won't be effective against Greed's incredible speed. Nin tries to strike from above with a magic attack, while Lily and Lilia fuse together to form Lilially and attack Greed. Despite their efforts, Greed's speed prevents any of them from landing a hit, keeping Lilially on the defensive. Rudd understands that his only hope is to deliver a single, powerful blow to Greed. Greed uses his wind magic to knock Lilially unconscious. Rudd then unleashes his life conversion ability, channeling the 20,000 damage he has sustained during the battle into an attack on Greed. However, the attack has no effect, and Greed counters, leaving Rudd dizzy. Desperately, Rudd focuses all his mana into his body and tries to defeat Greed, but it's of no use. He attempts another life conversion attack, only to be knocked unconscious by Greed. Greed shatters Rudd's absorb shield, leaving him unconscious and in pain, while the rest of the team struggles against Greed, who destroys their shields as well. Despite the agony, Rudd channels all his mana into his body, losing control as it overwhelms him. His speed and strength increase dramatically, and he attacks Greed repeatedly. An internal voice urges him to annihilate everything in his path. Nin, noticing Rudd's strange behavior, slaps him back to his senses. Although controlling his mana proves difficult, Nin helps him regain control. Greed attempts to demoralize Rudd by showing a vision of the ongoing battle in Abancia, but this backfires. Rudd instructs Nin to continuously cast healing magic on him. Rudd then employs his superpower, the Shield of Sacrifice, to absorb the shields of everyone fighting back in town. Harnessing this collective power, he unleashes a devastating life conversion attack on Greed, finally destroying him. The attack is so powerful that everyone takes notice. After defeating Greed, they return to Abancia, where they are greeted with praise, especially Rudd. He reunites with his sister Manisha and hugs her tightly. The townspeople celebrate Rudd, acknowledging him as the strongest tank ever.